South Africa surely shed the tag of chokers last night at the ICC Champions Trophy semi-final because they surrendered to a very dominant display by New Zealand. They were knocked out after losing to New Zealand by 50 runs. David Miller, the lone warrior in that mammoth run chase. But that's not what the South Africa unit believes. They've put it to the flight travels between venues for not performing up to the mark. That they've blamed the tight scheduling by the ICC and the not-so-ideal travelling during the tournament for their fatigue. It's come from one man who stood tall for South Africa in the semi-final, centurion David Miller, while the rest of the Proteas lineup crumbled in the 363-run chase. Miller's 67-ball 100 brought South Africa close. Had he gotten the support he required from the other end, maybe the result would have been different. But instead of addressing the team not punching hard to cross the line, Miller has questioned the ICC.
It's only an hour and 40-minute flight, but the fact that we had to do that was not ideal. It's early morning, it's after a game, and we had to fly. Then we got to Dubai at 4 p.m. And at 7:30 a.m. we had to come back. It doesn't make it nice. It was not an ideal situation.
He's referring to the flight both South Africa and Australia had to take because who would face India in the semi-final rather came down to the last match in the group stages. Something even the ICC, of course, couldn't have predicted when they drew up the schedule. So while it was unfortunate, that's how sport is. And ever since the tournament started, India has been accused of getting favoured treatment, given they are playing all their matches in a single venue in the UAE. But not once has anyone blamed this as the reason for their failure. And Miller didn't stop there. He even took a cheeky dig at India by saying he will be supporting New Zealand in the final, indicating that he isn't happy that all the teams had to travel. Well, all except India. But here's the question: the team they faced in the semi-final, New Zealand, too faced a similar situation. Plus, they got 1 day less than South Africa, who finished their group games earlier. New Zealand, in fact, played the last group game against India in Dubai on the 2nd of March, travelled to Pakistan for the semi-final against South Africa on the 5th of March, and yet were the better team on the day. And now, they will once again travel to Dubai for the all-important final, after just coming back from there. Looks like all the travel didn't trouble them. And when you speak of the South African playing 11, you look at a bunch of super talented cricketers who travel through the year for cricket leagues. Many of these players play in leagues across the globe all round the year. Over the years, South Africa's current core, comprising of so many players like Macron and many others who form the core of the team, have represented leagues everywhere, whether it's David Miller, Heinrich Klaasen, and many others. It's a typical league tournament that lasts for over a month. Any particular league, it typically lasts for over a month. And all of these players indulge in most of these. And you have an IPL is probably the only differentiator, which is the most exhaustive, as it has the most number of teams playing, 10. That lasts for a couple of months. But from their batters to their bowlers, someone like Lungi Ngiri, Kagiso Rabada, and many others right before, they've all opted for league cricket, which entails a lot of travel even during the tournament. That includes American Cricket League, MLC, Bangladesh Premier League, PPL, Pakistan Premier League, PSL, T20 League in the Caribbean Islands, CPL. All of this in addition to, of course, the IPL. Plus, South Africa has their own league, which is the SAT20. And of course, there's national duty. In fact, being a part of IPL seasons, I can tell you the travel during leagues for cricketers is grueling despite being a T20 affair. And it isn't just the multiple leagues these players feature in. A player playing in IPL travels right through India. 2 cities with IPL franchises is typically 2.5 hours. Mumbai, Delhi, again, a little over 2 hours. Now, I can go on, but the point here is they will all be longer than what Miller and his teammates had to travel for, 1 hour and 40 minutes. Now, while I understand this situation was far from ideal, I want to ask, when has it ever been for current cricketers, especially with the kind of scheduling and the calendar that anyway exists all through the year? It's down to getting used to the conditions, the rigors, the sleight of hand, fortunes, and an evolving sport, and yet delivering. Like New Zealand did. Despite coming off a bruising against India, they recovered, bounced back, and how? This is one more opportunity that South Africa have missed, an opportunity at a shot at silverware. Both the women and the men came so close last year to doing that. But that's what South Africa as a cricketing unit needs to reflect and ask themselves. Did they live up to the tag that their talent possesses on the night, last night? Was it travel and fatigue and scheduling, or was it just that the New Zealand team were absolutely on the money and a far better unit on the day?
Merci beaucoup. Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Namaste, Mr. President.
Bharat Kelogan, Komeri Namaste.
How many people generally follow you in interviews?
Typically, in a month, we have viewers up to 150 million. That's more than twice the population of France. And in the last 2 years, we had 3 billion viewers. So I say, Laurent, this is your chance to be famous. You're on Firstpost. One word to describe your equation with Prime Minister Modi.
Amitié.
As India and France work together, are you creating a new era of non-alignment in the technology space?
India is a training superpower. 1 million engineers a year, more than all of Europe and the US combined. So we have that partnership. We have a partnership on the environment and the economy. We also have civilian nuclear programs, and that is something we've developed far beyond the France-India relationship. So we want to work together on AI.
And then comes China with its DeepSeek, creating models at a fraction of the cost. Did that innovation take you by surprise? Did that breakthrough make you sit up and think, what did the Chinese do and how?
But what did DeepSeek do? They took everything that was already available from the last AI model, and then they recalibrated it.
So are you going to ban Chinese AI in France?
So we don't have this American approach of banning tech because of where it comes from.